welcome to the third episode of the Now I Know podcast. I promise to give you industry professionals that will make you walk away from every episode saying, now I know. Now, our next guest is a legend, literally a well-respected casting director, talent agent, actress, radio presenter, and TV presenter. She has worked with so many local, international films, television shows, stage productions, including Generations, Suburban Bliss, and Egoli. She's hosted Miss World in Africa. Kidio Storytime. Remember Kidio Storytime? Remember Gomkubelo? She's been on 5FM for 4 years. She's been the jury member of international Oscars and Emmys, and she is the judge of the South African Film and Television Awards and chairing 4 times. And she was the judge for BET's Top Actor Africa, which was my absolute favorite. She's now the managing director of South Africa's leading talent in South Africa. It's called Stark Raving Management SA, and she is a performance coach. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Miss Kimberleigh Stark.
Thank you. My goodness, what an introduction.
Yeah. Well, it's just a summary of your work, really. Like, you've done so much for so many years, and we appreciate you making time to be with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I want to share this with you. This is a 360 moment for me.
Okay.
Because I think in 2018, I wanted to study TV presenting. And I got exposed. I was whilst doing research, I think media concept came through.
Okay.
Yeah, media concept came through.
Right.
And whilst researching on that, your name popped up.
Yes.
And that's when I started studying you like a textbook. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. It was. It's such a 360 moment for me. I'm gonna take us back to where you were born and where you come from, right? So at the age of 4, you knew then that you wanna be a ballerina and an actress. At the age of 4.
Wow, you really have done your research.
Yeah, at the age of 4.
I feel very suddenly exposed.
Yeah.
At the age of 4, I would entertain my mom's friends and my grandparents and anybody who would give me 5 minutes of their time. I was very determined to be on the stage.
Yeah, and who were you looking up to at the time?
Myself.
Is it?
Yeah. You know, okay, but I go back a long time, right? So when I was growing up, TV was just sort of getting started. Well, it wasn't just getting started, but I mean, the things that I would watch would be like Sesame Street or The Electric Company, which was Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Love him. So, you know, I didn't really know about like Marilyn Monroe or I didn't really know about those people until I was a little bit older. But I just knew that I wanted to make people smile and I wanted to entertain people. You know.
But your mom was a doctor and your father was a writer.
Yeah.
I can imagine how the conversation was like trying to convince them to be a ballerina and an actress, considering that your mom is a doctor.
Yeah, I come from a very academic family.
Yeah.
My sister's a CPA. I was sort of the black sheep of the family in more than one way. But I was very blessed. My mom was extraordinarily supportive. And she, you know, I mean, my parents split when I was very, very young. So she was a single mom. Yeah. And she was very supportive, you know, when I wanted to do it. And we didn't have money when I was growing up, you know, because she was a single mom, she was studying. So she was studying and raising children at the same time. And she sacrificed so much so that I could be on the stage. You know, we lived in an area called Palo Alto in California, and I got a scholarship to the at the ACT, the American Conservatory Theater San Francisco. So luckily, I got a full scholarship. I got a full scholarship, and she would literally take time off work and studying and everything else, or take her school books with her and go sit in the green room so that she could get me from Palo Alto to San Francisco, which is about 35 miles or something, so that I could go do me. So, I was very, very blessed. My mom was just so awesome.
Yeah. But now you were born and raised in California.
Yes.
But I'm already assuming that that environment sort of exposed you to the industry that you wanted to be in. Did it?
Not really. I mean, I was in all the school plays and stuff like that. I did do an after-school special with ABC television, but not really. I mean, I wasn't in Los Angeles. I was in the Bay Area. So, the American Conservatory Theater opened a lot of doors for a lot of big names. So Harry Hamlin came from there. Amy Irving came from there. Denzel Washington came from there. So there were a lot of actors there. And Robin Williams used to come in backstage all the time, when he was in between his comedy gigs and stuff like that. So, I mean, there was a lot of really amazing actors there. But it wasn't Los Angeles. I think LA was like
the hub of everything. Yeah. But because this is a very competitive space and quite small, was there a moment in your life at that time where you felt like it's not going to happen, or where you felt
never felt that?
Is it?
Never felt that. I knew that it was going to happen when it was going to happen. I knew that I needed to keep dreaming, because the minute that you give up your dreams, then it doesn't happen. And it doesn't always happen on your timeline. So it's believing in yourself enough to know that that door is going to open when it's my turn.
But I guess the question again is, was it as competitive as it is now?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
You go to an audition, and the audition is like around the block, to do a commercial, or to that ABC after school special. I think they must have auditioned about 400 or 500 kids for the role that I played. And they were going from school to school to school looking for this particular character. So competition is a big part of our industry. And I think that's where the believing in yourself is so important. And I think people get mixed up, especially nowadays, because fame comes very easily. With Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And it's are you looking for fame, or are you an actor? And for me, I'm an actor. So being able to perform, being able to bring a script to life, being able to step into another world, another character, feeds my soul. Being a storyteller, that feeds my soul. It's not about being recognized on the street. So I think priorities have shifted. And when I was growing up in the States, we were still actors. It wasn't all about the fame. Fame was only just getting sort of going. I mean,
it was about the craft.
You had your movie stars, of course, but it wasn't. It wasn't like a pop song. It was like, I don't know.
But now what happened to your aspiration of being a ballerina?
I popped my knee out.
Is it?
Yeah. So I blew my knee, and I just was never able to do it. But I was still able to go on stage.
On stage, but do you still sort of reignite that passion perhaps by watching?
My favorite movie, I've got two. All That Jazz, which is an amazing and tons of dance, and The Turning Point. So those two, Baryshnikov is in Turning Point. So those two movies, when I feel like I wish I was a dancer, I can watch those and cry. But you sort of accept that you have to shed a skin and move, and you can't decide this is what I'm going to do. You have to look at all the options and find joy in what you're able to do.
And you've surely done that because, I mean, you now wear so many hats. You now wear so many hats. Now, at the age of 11, of course, you got the scholarship to go study at the American Conservatory Theatre of San Francisco.
Wow, you really have research.
and you attended your drama classes there. That's where you got your foundation. What were some of the tools that you got from that institution that you are still applying now?
Discipline.
Oh, nice.
Discipline. I think one of the biggest problems that we have in the industry today is that artists aren't disciplined. So, you know, they come onto set, they're not prepared. Or their call time is 1 o'clock and they're there at 10 past 1. To me, that's just not acceptable.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared. You have to be early. When the director says action, you already have to be in character. Yeah. You can't sort of go, okay, and then step into character. And I see that often. It's a lack of discipline. And with a lack of discipline is a lack of respect. And, you know, if you don't know the history of acting and, you know, how even during the Great Depression, acting kept people positive, and the industry still boomed during the Great Depression because people needed some sort of entertainment and some sort of release. Actors play a very pivotal part in society, and if you've got the background information on that and the knowledge of that and the appreciation of that, when you go forth in your career, you have more respect for what you're doing. And I think that's so important. So that's sort of discipline, respect, you know, that foundation. That's what I got from ACT.
Awesome. Now you were at the ACT environment and you were quite young. And it's a new environment. I'm assuming you were not familiar with it. Were there any culture shocks that you experienced when you were there?
No, it was so beautiful.
Is it?
It was so beautiful. Learning Shakespeare, recognizing that I can't do accents, accepting that. It's just not part of who I am. I just can't do accents.
You can't,
No. But that's okay, you know, and finding my strengths and finding where I need work. And it was such a beautiful family. It was such a beautiful time. And I just felt like that's where I belonged. I never sort of felt shy or uncomfortable. Whereas if I meet people in public, I can be quite reserved. But that was my tribe. I was really, really happy there.
We're gonna fast forward things a little bit. You've worked in so many American and German productions, and you know, among many of the international stars that you've worked with the British actor, Mr. David Bradley.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I have.
Yeah, you have.
I have.
How was the
experience? I didn't even know he was British. You know, he talked with an American accent the whole time. I didn't even realize that. He was awesome. He was really nice. He was a really nice guy.
And who's that one iconic figure that you've worked with and that sort of became the highlight of your career?
That's a tough one. I've worked with some amazing people. I think the one person that made an impact on me was Susan Day. She used to be on my absolute all-time favorite TV show growing up, which was The Partridge Family. As a matter of fact, she was very infamous because she had these beautiful thick eyebrows, and she used to raise the one eyebrow when she would speak. So I, as a child, would stand in front of the mirror and try and learn how to raise my eyebrows and try and, you know. So when I got onto the set, because she wasn't supposed to be the principal actor, it was somebody else. And when I got onto set and there was Susan Day, I think that was the only time in my career where I sort of had a moment. Because I'd grown up watching her, and she was so down to earth and so focused, and I loved watching her process of stepping into character. I mean, I would watch her, and it was fascinating for me. So I would have to say Susan Day.
Nice.
Yeah, Bridge of Time. That was a big part. But I've worked with Oliver Reed, who won my mom. My mom's like, oh, I know who he is. I've worked with Robert Mitchum.
Nice.
And
those are big names.
Yeah. Bo Derek, you know.
Wow.
So But for me, Susan Day, that for me, and she was just so nice and so gentle. We had scenes together, and she just made me feel so welcome.
Oh, that's
you know. Sometimes you get big celebrities and they sort of can be very offish. You're not at my level, so. And she was not like that.
She was down to earth.
Totally down to earth.
Approachable.
Yes.
Nice.
And the one other person that was down to earth that blew my mind was Billy Zane.
Oh.
You know, it was just
Another
before.
big name.
Yeah, it was just before Titanic. He had just landed it, and he was so awesome. It was freezing when we were filming. He had us all in the caravan. We were drinking hot chocolate in his caravan. He was just so awesome. And I think those to me are actors. They're not full of themselves. They're not, look at me, I'm a celebrity. Those would be Hollywood B actors to me. True actors, the A actors, they are so secure in who they are. They don't need to put on a show for you. They're just normal.
They understand that artistry is not about you, but it's about the craft itself.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
In 1980, in the 80s rather, you moved to South Africa.
Yes.
What inspired the move?
My mom got a job with USAID, and she was stationed in Botswana. And the thought of my mom, who is also my best friend, going to Africa was just like, oh my God, you're going to Africa? Oh, what? So I wanted to go with her just to see where she was and help her get settled. And I was in Botswana for about 3 months, and then I went back to the States, went back to university, and suddenly realized I had gotten bitten by that African bug.
Oh.
And I said, Mom, can I come back?
Is it?
Back I came. And South Africa was also going through a movie boom.
Yeah.
So I met some South Africans, came to South Africa, and then just started working. Being an American mixed race, so I didn't fit into any category. And that was during apartheid. So it was like, and I didn't understand what apartheid was. So I walked around like I owned the place. People were like, okay, who is this person? And we see your passport. I'm like, why?
And you were not familiar with it.
I had no idea. And that was probably the best thing, because otherwise I would have come here with fear.
Yeah, with fear.
And because I didn't have the fear, no one knew how to deal with me. And then I signed with the modeling agency G3, and things just started taking off in South Africa, and then I just never went back.
Awesome. Now, your American accent at the time got you a lot of jobs.
It did back then.
Back then.
Not now.
Why? Why not now?
Because now South Africa has found its own voice.
Oh.
It's not trying to imitate America. It's now, we are proudly South African.
Yes.
So where does this little brown sugar fit in here with this funny accent? It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to ask that question a little later on, though, about South Africa finding, or rather South African film and television space finding its own identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think we have?
I think it's a moving wheel, but the growth has been incredible. At the same time, it feels like someone's pulled the handbrake. It feels like we've suddenly stopped. And it's making me a little bit nervous. We've got so much talent in South Africa. The South African actors are incredible. The crew, they're amazing. They can compete anywhere in the world.
You say, it's my second time hearing you say that.
I feel that very strongly.
South African actors can compete against the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think they need to be given that opportunity. So I think, we have to be realistic. There's always geopolitical issues that go into play. So a while ago, when I first came here, there was like tax breaks for Hollywood films to come here. Those tax breaks aren't happening anymore, so there are not as many films happening. I know that Cape Town's sort of like a second Hollywood, but Johannesburg has so much to offer as well. So, it's like I wake up literally every day praying that the industry is just going to open up again. Because it just really feels like since COVID, it's just like, it's not moving. But we have so much talent here and so many beautiful stories. And I get so excited when I see those stories come to life. It's incredible.
Yeah, we're gonna carry on with this. I just wanna show you a promo of the upcoming episode that we're gonna have. Stay right there. We'll be back. Alright, we've just wrapped up shooting our Now I Know podcast. Go check it out. It's out, and we are absolutely in awe of this veteran story of more than 50 years. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Miss Dorothy and Gold, thank you so much for coming through, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
I
inviting me.
appreciate you making time to be with us and for being so patient. I mean, we took over 2 hours covering the story. So this is my Johannesburg mother, everybody. So yeah, she's been
Such a pleasure.
yeah, and we were supposed to have done this for the past 3 years. But yeah, by God's grace, here we are. So
It takes its own time.
yeah, awesome. I've with myself Karabo Majola. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Now I Know podcast. I promise to give you industry professionals that will make you walk away from every single episode saying, now I know. Now my next guest is a well-respected thespian. She's a legend, a veteran with enjoyed that little skit. Now you know who's coming up on the next episode, but we're still carrying on with unpacking Mrs. Kimberleigh Stark's story. Ma'am, thank you so much for your patience, really.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I was watching an old episode of the Felicia Mabuza Subtle show, and they were talking about the exploitation of actors. And on the episode, you could see the likes of Mam Konichiume, Mam Nandinyembe, the late great Mam Nontlenkonyela, and the late great Patrick Shai. So many people, including Miss Moonin Lee. She was also there advocating for the rights of actors, and there were producers that were there really being boastful of how they are supporting actors and all of that. Meanwhile, the narrative is quite different.
Yeah.
And we are still having the same chats.
Yeah. We are having the same conversation.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Actors aren't seen as real workers, you know? So we don't get unemployment, we don't get medical aid, and most actors can't afford medical aid. That's the thing that people don't even realize. You know, if you look at how many actors have passed away in government hospitals, including, Darlington Michaels.
Yeah.
I mean, he died in Baragwana.
Yes.
It's so unfair.
Yeah.
And productions will look after themselves. So again, with Darlington, he had his massive heart attack. He was in Cape Town promoting a certain show, and he was there working for them. He went down. They put him into a private hospital. We all thought, okay, wow, this is awesome. They're taking care of him.
Yeah.
They docked his pay. They docked his pay. And, it's like, surely the amount of money that they get through advertising, through the viewers, everything like that, they should be able to take care of their artists. Yeah. When I was shooting a TV series called Honeytown, I caught encephalitis. Yeah. And I, like every other actor, didn't have medical aid. Landed up in Joburg Gen. No one was allowed to visit me. I was in ICU, isolation. I was critical. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. There were 6 beds. 2 of us walked out of that hospital ward alive. 2 of us. The other 4 died.
That must have been so traumatic.
It was incredibly traumatic. Gavin van der Berg, he played my lover in the series.
Yeah, on the series. Yeah.
He would sneak in and read me stories. And just to keep my brain going, because we didn't have iPhones and stuff like that to keep us entertained, and we're in Joburg Gen. Instead of
them putting me in a private hospital, making sure I got the care I needed. They were so busy because I was a female lead.
Yeah.
They gave all my scenes to various actors and reorganized how they were going to shoot the scenes without me, instead of worrying about me. And that is the story of every actor I know. Every actor I know has got a story like that. Actors, when they come into money, they misspend the money because they're so used to not having money that when they suddenly have money, they go, I'm going out for dinner and I've got a contract. Those contracts can be taken away at any time. There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
They'll buy a car. They lose their contract and the car gets repossessed. People don't understand. And trying to teach actors to manage their finances, because you are not protected by production.
Yeah.
You're not protected by government. Arts and culture, hello guys, come in and take care of business here. They don't. So I know there's people that are trying to make changes, but how long have we heard that story? I mean, I've been here since '89. I've heard that story the whole time.
We have a new minister now.
Okay.
And he's quite vocal about these things. He seems to be interested in.
Good. I hope that he puts his money where his mouth is. I really do. I haven't seen any changes, but I haven't been out looking for those changes. So, and he might be great. And he seems, I've seen him, he does seem very enthusiastic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I know it takes a little bit of time for the change to trickle through, but I mean, how much time?
Yeah.
When are we going to start seeing those changes? When are we going to see productions start running again? And it almost feels like there needs to be a regulatory party that sits and goes, okay, producers, you can't take more than this amount of money. Put it back into the production. Because, I mean, if you watch TV nowadays, the productions are looking thinner and thinner and thinner.
That's true.
That's true. The sets aren't as beautiful.
Yeah.
The clothing isn't as beautiful, I mean, just looking out the window, I said to you, there are no sets here.
Yeah.
This used to be packed full of sets.
Back-to-back sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now there's just a couple of sets in the back, and it's just like, what is happening? Why are there not productions being made up, starting new? There's just, I'm very stressed out about the industry right now, to be honest with you.
Now, you've worked in different stages in different platforms, in your films, television, theater, but let's try and distinguish the discipline of acting between those three platforms.
I think it's the same foundation. It's the same foundation. It's being prepared, being on time. It's who you are. Yeah. I believe that actors are born. We can't suddenly wake up one day and go, I think I'm going to be an actor today. And there's so many people that are trying to do that. And then they come in, they blow up the industry a bit, and then they disappear again. It'd be like me walking into a hospital saying, okay, I decided I'm going to be a surgeon, and that lack of respect for actors and for what we do and our ability to do storytelling, whether it's through radio, television, theater, it's all the same because we're storytellers. It's the root of who we are. And we're not fly-by-nights. We don't wake up one day and sort of go, new device. Now how can I use this to the best of my ability? So it's I think that the foundation is the same. If you're an actor. If you're an actor.
Now,
these three, emphasize that part.
If you're an actor, yes. Yeah. But now these three platforms are quite different.
Yes, they are. Different skill sets altogether.
I once heard Mam Tati Mushresh in an interview saying that she prefers working on films. Really just seeing how the process is, like how things are being put together. The gaffer putting together the lighting and the camera guys. She likes working in that environment. And I've had a conversation with Miss Dorothy and Gold about her working on films, and she's had some bittersweet moments.
There are always bittersweet moments working on films, But in any of the genres, you'll have moments on stage. We were doing a huge Christmas production, a Christmas Carol at ACT, and in America you say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You never say Happy Christmas. I mean, no one's ever heard that.
Yeah, never.
And the actor went, Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year. And we all
that must
stopped.
have been so weird.
And we were trying not to, what they call corpse, where everyone just doesn't know what to do with themselves and bursts out laughing. And the two leads on the stage actually burst out laughing. And then, all of us smaller roles were like trying to maintain, well, I tried. And I managed, I didn't crack up, but tears were running down my eyes because I could not contain my laughter. Well, I did contain it, but it was, and then, on television, in a drama series, things happen. There's things that always happen. My preference, I love the theater, but you can't make money in theater.
Yeah, that's
and
the sad
you can't
part.
support yourself.
Yeah,
so
that's the sad part.
that's why I want to theater because it's late at night. It's you're driving at night, and at my age, I'm not going to be driving at night. Thank you very much. So my preference is television and film. You can make your money. It's exciting. You get to work with your people. There's something about being on a film set that is just so. I mean, film set's definitely my best by far. Then television, but for me, some actors can go in between. So Dorothy can. She can do theater and she can do television
and stage.
And that's what I'm saying. Theater and screen. I find difficulty going between screen and stage. I'm too small on stage and too big for television if I try and mix the two. So I'd rather stick to one.
Because really the disciplines are quite different.
Well, the performance is, it's not as much a discipline, but the performance is very different. How you tell the story. On stage, you have so much room to work. Where in television, it's just the slightest movement, the slightest eye that tells the story. So it's hard for me to find a happy medium to go back and forth. So I'll stick with the screen. Thank you.
And you were recently visiting the set of Scandal, the new set that they've got. Yes. And you filmed things on your phone and
I had permission.
You had permission.
Yes.
I want us to talk about studio etiquette. Because because I believe young performers, they do not have studio etiquette.
So you never go into studio. I'm going to talk to you directly. You never go into studio with your phone or an earpiece. You never take pictures of yourself on a set ever. You don't go and walk up to one of the leading actors who seems to be sitting there doing their own thing. They're probably running their lines in their head. So you go and you go, hi.
Oh, man.
Can I take a selfie with you? Okay. And the actor's like, they don't want to be rude, but it's infuriating.
I think Brenda Morley once had this conversation, and it was deemed as controversial.
You just talk, well, because then we look like we're being divas, but we're not being divas. We are sitting there rehearsing the lines in our head, and when you're working on a Scandal, you've got scene after scene after scene. You've got a lot going on. So to have some little, just for my Instagram, it's infuriating. So when I went onto set, I was there in the capacity as an agent because one of my girls is working there, and I got permission. I was invited, and then I said to them, "Can I shoot some stuff on your new set and put it up on my page?" And they're like, "Yes, please do." But it's also because I wasn't there as somebody who was just touring and popping gum. I was there for a reason. So I think that is so important, and also they shoot far in advance. So if the set had been brand new and it hadn't been out on television yet, then I would be blowing the secret. And another thing that people do is they'll take pictures on set, but there's actors there that haven't been seen yet. So then people looking at the page go, "Oh,
she's going
to be joining."
So
the secret's out. And the thing is, also as actors, we have to remember that we are there to take people from one world into another world. That is our job. So we can't let the secret out. We have to maintain
that, yes,
that purity.
Yeah.
You know, and people who aren't in the industry don't understand that. They're happy to pop that bubble.
Yeah, but you were at an awe of how advanced that set is.
I love seeing the changes that they were making, and you know, it's important to move with the times. And I think what they're doing is, you know, is a bit groundbreaking, because people get very happy with what they know. They don't like change, and I'm guilty of that too. I don't. When things change, I'm like, why are you changing this? But it's important that we do grow. And they took a big step, and they were like, we're going to change, and we're going to get new characters in, and we're going to refresh everything.
And it's got more depth of field, I feel.
It's very, very nice. You know, and I'm really excited for them, and I'm happy for the actors, because the actors also need some changes, because it gets pretty it can get very stagnant. You know, you sort of feel like I can't breathe, because you're just doing the same thing over and over again. So when there's changes, and when your character gets to have a change, it's so refreshing.
Have you recovered from the awe that you were in when you saw Michael Cole at the Market Theatre?
Oh man, that was really special. That was really special. It was amazing, because you had the physical theater, working with puppets, actors acting as normal straight actors, but also the puppeteers, and the way that they embodied the puppet, and it's another world. I was so fascinated by the whole process, and such a beautiful story, and so creatively told. It was incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah, Michael K. The Life and Times of Michael K. That was really special.
Yeah. I wrote here Michael Cole.
I think it's the Life and Times of Michael K.
Michael K.
All right,
so. My bad.
So.
I have to correct that. Now, you say you find satisfaction in talent coaching.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love watching actors find their confidence, find their rhythm. When they suddenly, you can see like a light go off in their eyes. It's like they suddenly understand, and it's so beautiful to see that. And it's so beautiful when they truly start believing in their own abilities, and they step in and they relax into that character, and they morph with that character, and they sculpt it. It's so beautiful to see that.
What do you think makes a good talent coach? Because I think being a performer is another thing, but being an entire coach, having to facilitate a performer, is another thing.
I think you really have to be somebody who appreciates the art of storytelling, and who likes to look at and watch different people tell stories in different ways. I think you also have to have a sort of a technical mind, so that you can hear the technical side, what the director's talking about, and then interpret it, so that the actor who often doesn't think about the technical things, you know, it's like, don't miss your mark. I'm trying to perform, and I have to now worry about a mark, you know, and those things, to bring them together can be really difficult. So I think you have to sort of have a technical side to you, but an overall appreciation of storytelling. And just being able to hear both, you know, and sort of go, no, but you're doing good. You know, I think so many times actors are very insecure. So they need reassurance that they're on the right track.
There was another question I was going to ask you, that do you find that many actors are insecure and are not as confident as they, you know, portray themselves to be? That's quite interesting to know.
It you know,
and I think I once heard, sorry for interrupting you, I think I once heard Miss Viola Davis saying the same thing, that actors are quite insecure.
We want to please. We want to tell the story the way you want it to be told. We want affirmation that we're on the right track, that we're understanding the character. And sometimes you get directors that are just there as technical directors, they're not emotional directors, and that's very difficult for me personally. I like a director who's an actor, because they understand the process, and they understand that it's important to get that reassurance that you're on the right track, because it's like you do the scene, they go cut, okay.
You're just looking at the monitor.
Let's do it again. For safety. You're sort of going, but did I catch that moment? Did I capture? Did you feel what I was trying? And when you get a director who's an actor or a performance director, you can feel if you're going wrong.
It's quite stimulating.
It's a challenge. You know, if you're not getting it right, you can feel those sort of, and you're like, okay. And then they go, I remember the one director on a movie that I actually worked with Dorothy on, called, I think it was Friend Request. He kept telling me to be stoic. I could not, for the life of me, understand how much more stoic I could get. I'm sitting there, I'm delivering my lines very stoically. More stoic. Okay, you tell me your interpretation of the word stoic so that I can get this right. You know? Yeah. So getting a director that is able to communicate with you, that understands the process that the actor is actually going through to step into the role, makes the difference. And you can see it in the movies. You can watch a movie and go, okay, that director knew their actors. That director embraced their actors versus actors that are just like going through the motion of it.
I think Tebogo Malope once shared the same sentiments in an interview. May his soul rest in peace. He spoke about that he preferred, being on set with the character instead of just sitting behind the monitor and just really looking at things from a technical perspective. I think that's really important.
If you look at these actors, like the director from The Brutalist, I mean, you know that's an actor's director to get those performances, and it's like, but it depends. Are you there to make a quick buck and a quick turnover, or are you there to make art? Yeah. Because there's lots of people that are just trying to get stuff out. Content. We just need content. They don't. Their heart and soul isn't in it. But when their heart and soul is in that production, it shows on the big screen or on the small screen.
Sure. You wear so many hats. You wear so many hats.
You have to in this industry.
You've also worked as a performance chair for the SAFTAs and a jury member for the Foreign Language Oscar Awards and Emmys. Yes. With that experience, with that entire experience, like, okay, before I ask that question, I want to know, how did that come about? The Oscars and the Emmys, how did that come about?
I was invited. I've never really sort of looked at how it came about. You get an invitation to be on the jury, and you sort of like, okay, cool. Yeah. I think I juried the foreign language Oscars 4 times, four or 5 times. And then the SAFTAs, I was part of the SAFTAs from day one. They asked me to come on board, and I was on from day one. And then the last 2 years I haven't worked as a jury member, but I think I probably will again this year. Yeah. It was like 14 years straight or something. So time for a little bit of a break. I think it's a lot. It's a lot of work, and I think people don't realize how much work goes into watching all those productions. It's a lot.
I think after that experience, was that, okay, after collecting that entire experience, was that when you came to the conclusion that South Africans can compete against the world?
Oh, I knew it from the first time I put my big toe on a set.
Is it?
Yeah. I've worked with amazing people, your Lillian Dubes, Desmond Dube, Cello, so many incredible actors, Nea Matanyani, working opposite these guys. As an actor, I grew. And you can only grow as an actor if you're working opposite somebody who you need to step it up to work opposite. And that challenge is so delicious. It just, it's beautiful. The South African actors are incredible. I knew that from the moment I worked on my first production. Yeah.
And you were also a judge at Top Actor Africa. Yeah. That's where you met Jesse Santel. Is it Santel or Suntel? Suntele. I always mispronounce his surname. For the longest of time, I've been saying Santel. No, Jesse Santel. Suntele. He's amazing.
He's incredible. Yeah. He's humble. He's hungry. He loves storytelling. And he just, when I first saw him, I was like, have you got an agent? And he's like, a modeling agent. I said, no, you're mine. Come here. Yeah. And he went on to present, and now he's acting. He's still doing his music. He lives and breathes the industry, and he's a hard worker. So if he gets long gaps in between gigs, it's like Mama Bear.
Yeah.
What's happening out there? He's hungry. He loves working, and I love the fact that he stayed grounded. You know, because he's had massive success. I mean, he went to the film festival in Canada and TIFF with one of his movies, and I mean he's done incredibly well, and worked with a lot of Hollywood actors and stuff like that, and he is just so grounded, and that's what we need. He's a good example of how to behave on set.
I also enjoy his consistency.
Yeah.
From his days on Rhythm City to Savage Beauty, which was quite incredible.
He was brilliant. And watching him grow, and he's not afraid to take direction. He loves to grow. He's hungry. Tell him what he's doing right and tell him what he's doing wrong so that he can continue growing in his art. And that I respect.
We're going to wrap up our chat
Perfect.
after this. Awesome. We've just wrapped up shooting our Now I Know podcast. Go check it out. It's out, and we are absolutely in awe of this veteran story of more than 50 years. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Miss Dorothy and Gold, thank you so much for coming through, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
I
inviting me.
appreciate you making time to be with us and for being so patient. I mean, we took over, what, 2 hours? Covering the story. So this is my Johannesburg mother, everybody. So yeah, she's been
Such a pleasure.
and we were supposed to have done this for the past 3 years, but by God's grace, here we are. So
It takes its own time.
yeah, awesome. I've with myself Karabo Majola. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Now I Know podcast. I promise to give you industry professionals that will make you walk away from every single episode saying, now I know. Now my next guest is a well-respected thespian. She's a legend, a veteran with... We are still unpacking the story of Mrs. Kimberleigh Stark. Thank you for sticking around again, ma'am.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
You are working with, or rather under your agency, you have an amazing performer. And I want us to talk about her.
Okay.
Miss Nompumelelo Mhlongo. Let's talk about that amazing performer and thespian.
She is awesome. She is very learned. That's a South Africanism.
Yes.
She studied at the New York Film Academy. She is down to earth. She's professional. She's hardworking. And she's focused. But I think one of the things that people don't know about her is that she does a lot of I can't say the word, philanthropical work. I've never been able to say that word. A lot of charity work. So she's
a philanthropist.
That's the word, the philanthropist. She gives back to the community a lot, and we need more of that. You know, and absolutely. when you find people that are willing to give back, they're the people that often shine the brightest on camera because they're givers. You have to give a performance. You give. Yeah,
your performance.
Yeah, you're telling a story, but you're giving of who you are. And she takes that and takes it into the community. And I mean, she did a lot of work with children that were underprivileged, and she would go out and teach drama to them. And I mean, she's done a lot. But you're gonna meet her.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do another.
Yes.
And you're gonna meet her.
Yes, absolutely.
She's got a lot of stories to tell, but she also has a lot of wisdom to share.
Yes, absolutely. And we're gonna there's a workshop coming up, and we're gonna cover that workshop, and hopefully we're gonna cover that workshop, and we're gonna bring it to you. Don't worry, we're gonna bring it to you, and you're gonna meet this lovely lady that we're talking about.
Yeah, she's really, really awesome.
Any other young talented performer that you enjoy watching currently?
I love watching so many people. It would be unfair for me to try and pick one. I just think that we've got so many amazing young people. I just recently signed a young woman. She's 14, and I don't normally take girls of that age. But she's at the National School of Arts.
Nice.
And she's gonna go places.
Awesome.
She's she dances, she sings, and that's the thing. As an actor or as a performer, you need to broaden your skill set. Don't be lazy. And I see a lot of actors, they get a contract and they get fat and they get lazy. And it riles me so much. Keep up with the dance classes, keep at the gym, take singing lessons, piano lessons, tap dancing lessons, whatever. But keep growing as an artist. Don't get stale. Because you might think that you are fantastic. And I, as a casting director, I'm looking for someone just like you, but you need to be able to tap dance or ride a horse. And it's like, can you ride a horse? And then you get actors that lie. Yeah, I can ride a horse, and they fall off, they break their leg, and then so
cause another problem as well.
It really does. So just always grow. Take pottery, take painting, because you never know when it's going to actually come in handy for you, and it's a good outlet.
What inspired you to start Stark Raving Management SA?
I just wanted to. I've worked at other agencies, and it was great, but I wanted to do it for myself. I didn't want to work under somebody. I wanted to do my own thing. And I wanted to be an agent that's an agency with the difference. So I don't have 500 people on my books. If you go and Google some of these agencies, they've got so many people. It's so stupid to me. Sorry, but it is stupid to me because we're like a family. I know my artists.
How many artists do you have?
I've got about 32. Yeah, I've got about 32. Yeah. And the thing is, either you fit or you don't fit. So that's why you sort of go, plus minus. So always under 50. And one thing that does rile me as an agent and as an actor, actors need to find an agent and stick with them. This chopping and changing and having 2 or 3, you're just running in circles, and all it does is say to the casting directors, the producers and the directors, that you can't stay in a committed relationship. Which is a problem for them if you're gonna audition for something like Generations or Scandal. They don't want someone who does agency hopping, because if you can't stay committed to one agent, how do they know that you're going to stay committed to their production? People don't think like that. And if you look at the Hollywood actors, they stay with their agents 30, 40 years. They stay with their,
one agent.
And I mean, look at Jesse. He's been with me since...
Top actor
2015?
Yes.
Yeah, 2015. And he's been with me all these years. And he knows that I know him well. So I'm really great at negotiating for him, and I'll find roles that suit him so that he can grow. Because the other thing is, if you don't know your actors, you just keep putting them in auditions.
You misplace them.
And they don't get a chance to actually grow. And I know that actors are hungry and they need the the turnover and stuff like that. But if you really want a career in acting, sometimes you have to go without. It's like, you see these roles and they come up and you're sort of going, ooh, that's going to set you back 10 years because it's a terrible production. They don't pay. There's a big problem. Production's not paying. They don't pay. So you go and you do the work, makes you not available for when something right does come up because you're tied into this contract. You need to have that kind of relationship that you trust your agent, and your agent will do anything to make sure that you are safe. So that's so important. And also that relationship with your agent. If I've got a relationship with you, if I've got 500 people on my books, I don't know what you're doing. But and that's why I started Stark Raving, because I need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're going down the wrong path, if you are drinking, if you are late on set, if you're derailing, if you're going through a divorce, if you are sleeping around and it's getting out there, I will call you in and say, we need to talk. What's going on? Because you're hurting your reputation, and I care enough to make sure that you don't derail. If you've got so many people in your books, you can't make sure that they don't derail.
You can't.
You know?
Yeah.
And there is a big problem with substance abuse in the industry. And I think that's why people call me Mama Bear.
Yeah.
If you ask any of my artists, they'll go, oh, Mama Bear.
Mama Bear. Yeah.
Because I pull in, hey,
Yeah.
you were late, you didn't, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm strict, but it's because I love them. And we have relationships. So I won't just sign anybody. We have to build a relationship. And it takes a while. Yeah. But, you know, and if it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. Then you must go, and then I must go, you know. But it's important to have that relationship. And it's important to not just say yes to any production or to any agent. You know, you're looking for an agent so long that you see one, you know, and you go, oh, okay, let me go. And they go, sure, yes. And here's, you must pay me to join. And
what are some of the criterias? Because there are so many fly-by-night agents.
There are so many.
Yeah. What are some of the criteria?
Are they a registered company? Google them. Google is so easy. Do you know them from the industry? Who do they have on their books? How long have they been open? Okay. But do they care about who I am? Can I talk to them? Do I feel like they're interested in me as an artist? Those are things. And do they charge? Don't pay to join an agency.
Oh, that's another one that I think I've had a conversation with a friend of mine about this one.
Don't pay.
I mean, you don't pay for it.
We used to charge. Most agencies used to charge a long time ago. No. That has been out for 20 years now.
Let's say now I'm joining an agency, and this agency is saying to me, hey, pay $280 for pictures. And
no.
You pay absolutely nothing. No. And
the pictures are your responsibility.
As an agent?
No, as an artist.
All right.
So nowadays with cell phones and stuff like that, you can take really nice selfies, or you can get a friend that can take nice pictures or whatever. You supply the agency with the pictures. Okay, nice head and shoulders pictures. You don't, if they have, like when I do workshops, I open it up to the whole industry. Yeah. So I don't say to my artists, you have to pay to do my workshops, to be on my books. There's some agencies that charge a monthly rate to stay on their books. I mean, we make our money when you make money.
So the charging of every month is not ethical?
No.
All right.
No. You don't pay to join an agency. You don't pay to audition, ever. Agents should take 20%. Some will take 15, but not that must take more. But 20% should be the max. There is one big agency that I was very surprised to hear their rate. I'm not going to say which agency and what their rate is, but it's more than 20. I don't agree with that. 20 should be the max.
But now how then do you generate your income as an agent?
My 20%. That's why if you guys aren't working, I'm not making money.
So you have to make sure that 32 of your artists are working.
God, that would be so nice if that happened. Yes, that would be amazing. And that's why I'm also saying it's so difficult right now because there are not a lot of productions. So it's like the actors are getting frustrated. The agents are getting frustrated too. But my money comes from when you work. So obviously I'm going to only take people that I think I can get work for. And I'm going to work my backside off to make sure you are working, because otherwise I can't pay my PA, I can't pay my telephone, my electricity. So that's my motivation, you know, besides the fact of being proud mama bear, watching my babies, you know, work. But that's how I make my money. I don't make money from, you know, monthly fees and stuff like that. I make it off commission and only commission.
Only commission.
Yeah.
I want us to wrap it to wrap this chat up, but before that I want us to play a game. Where you have to choose one between these two performers. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So between Mam Nambita Mpumlwana, you know Mam Nambita Mpumlwana, and Florence Masibi, who would you go with?
I I know them both so well. This is a very difficult question. I probably would go with Florence because we have a long history together.
All right.
I love Nems. She's great. But Florence and I, we go back many decades. Yeah.
All right. Next one. Ntati Mushwesh or Mushiri Mutsehwa?
Eesh. I'm such good friends with both of them as well. Mashidi and I have worked together, and it was fantastic. And we are very good friends. But I'm also very good friends with Ntati. I can't make a decision.
One?
I can't.
All right. Granted.
Not between those two.
Yeah. All right. Nambita Ben Mazwi or Nomza Mambata?
Noms and I have a very special relationships, so I'd have to go with her.
Nomza Mambata.
Yeah. We just we're very playful with each other, and she makes me feel young.
Yeah. Sillo Makeka Ncube or Hlomla Dandala?
Okay, that's unethical. Stella's on my books. You know, Homestead and I are very good friends, but Stella's on my books, so I'm gonna have to go with Stella. Sorry, Homestead.
Yeah, all right, I understand. Voyo Dabula or Zolisa Kaluva?
I don't know.
You which one are you picking? Voyo. All right, Voyo. Why?
Also, a long history. We've known each other for a very long time, and we know each other well. You're asking me really hard questions, and you're asking me to choose between them, and I don't know what I'm choosing them for. So I'm going with friendship.
Performance wise.
See now.
Performance wise.
All right. Talking. All right. Okay. Now you're specifying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep with all my answers so far.
All right. Voyo Dabula, Sillo Makeka Ncube, Nomza Mambata, Ntati, Mushiri Mutsehwa.
Well, no, see.
Florence Masebe, these are people who go with in terms of performance. Yeah. All right, sure. The last one though. This one might be biased because one is in your books. One, I'm not sure if she is. Samela Kielboy or Nosibelele Kudichana.
Samela.
Oh.
She's my girl.
Yeah.
She's my girl.
Yeah.
And not only is she an amazing actress, but she's actually one of my closest friends.
Oh.
And she is so versatile.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Samela.
She's my girl.
I've had a chat with her. She's absolutely amazing. I've had a chat with her on my other platform, KVM Media. So you go check out KVM Media.
Yeah, no.
We had a lengthy chat about the industry, about her journey. And yeah, she's really incredible.
Amazing. She's been with me forever.
Yeah. From her society days.
Even prior to that. Yeah. She's been with me for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So, but she's a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do other things together as well. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, we're gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And I want to interview you and your journey.
We're doing it.
There we go. Yeah. And then come visit me at Monologue Monday.
Monologue Mondays, Instagram. Where can they find you actually?
IME Girl, Instagram, or Kimberleigh Stark on Facebook. Yeah. I do have, what do you call it? That other one? TikTok? I see, I'm too old for this stuff.
Yeah.
I do have TikTok, also Kimberleigh Stark, but I don't post very much on that. And I'm definitely not on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
Awesome. We're going to have a part 2. Awesome.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that one. Check me out, Karabo Majola, Facebook, at karabo.majola.@mediaguy, and TikTok, yes, and Instagram, karabo.ivan.majola. That's it from me. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye.